We'd like to welcome each and every individual to Voices of Integrity podcast for raising funds for nonprofit organizations and great causes. And so we're going to dive right in. Before we share our stuff, Tony, is there anything you wanted to share on your side?
No, we got you the podcast stations from last week, right? So you have those. We also have been accepted on iHeartRadio, our podcast. It was recognized, and it's been we've had about 1,000 downloads in the last month or so. So they picked us up too. So which is great. I mean, it's starting to kick in for us.
All right.
We're looking at March the 12th as a soft launch. We changed it from the 6th.
Okay.
And then we have an ADHD summit that we're planning for July, sometime in July.
Gotcha.
So those are just some brief updates. Keep on working the families. We have 15 families that we're helping right now. So
Nice.
a lot going on.
So that triggered there was a private school in Chicago um, that Tom and I visited.
Okay.
Um, and right in the inner city, rough neighborhood, really rough neighborhood, really. And um, Bob was the founder of this, and he sold his company. I think he sold his company. He was an executive at a big company, I believe, and sold his company, or he's a just I don't know something. Anyways, he did well, and then he went in and started this school. He got on Oprah, and got her to give. They had a contest or something, and I guess they gave out 20 prizes or something, and so he got that, and he said, "Mark, I think that hurt us financially."
Why?
That's what I said. He's like, because I don't know, it was $250,000, but it was divided by 25 people or something.
Uh,
you know so people thought, oh, they got $250,000. No, they got it divided by 25 people, so we're good for Oprah. Like, got all the
uh,
press and all this stuff, but everybody, he said, the donations after went down after that because people thought, oh, you got all this money you won.
he got $10,000. That's what he
Right.
got. So,
Right. And so
uh, geez.
so a lot of the stuff in the nonprofit world, you're like, are you kidding? Like, how does that wonky stuff happening? We did get our first, we did get our first response on the landing page. Wahoo!
Yeah. All right.
But look at all the work. And so there's been 9,414 people sent. Of that, we've had 1,388 people that have opened. And then we've had 951 people that have clicked. And we had one person who responded. Um, and they said that they were a business owner. They said they were a business owner and they had ADHD. So Nora replied to them, and really super nice reply. And because we don't have their phone number, we just have their email. And so she replied to them and haven't heard anything back yet.
Yeah.
The board, I'm still kind of working with them um, about transferring this stuff over, giving you guys access to that. I don't. They just want to know details, and I'm working on those details on my side because they're like, well, how are you going to coordinate that with them? Or is Life Masteries going to stop? So there's 1,195 people that have clicked on, this landing page. And there's one person that has responded.
Yeah.
And so, and they didn't take it further. So, So I haven't seen the database on the 1195. So Anita's working on getting that downloaded so I can see what kind of information we have because I need to get that to the board and say, hey, here's the plan. This is what it is. So, I think it'll be fine. I just got to work on it.
Well,
Um, Go ahead.
don't want to create too much hassle for you guys. I mean, you've done a lot of work
It's
on this thing already.
it's not it's not a problem. It's just
So
this. I've been doing this for a long time, and this is just part of the part of what you do, and so it's not a problem at all. Um, so once I get that data, then I can say, hey, here's the data fields we have on it. So Life Masteries has a database of 17 million businesses and all kinds of stuff. Like it's crazy. Um, it hasn't been updated for 3 years, 4 years. So they're looking at either getting a new database or updating it or both. And in the past, done, they haven't done because they didn't have Shuaib. This was before Shuaib. So this was 3, 4 years ago, probably 4 years ago. Um, Shuaib and his team. And so when they get the new one, and Anita, if you can talk, I don't know if have you and Rosanna talked about that, Anita, on getting the new database where Life Masteries does that.
No, we have not.
If you can put that on your list, if you can put that on your list to talk to Rosanna about that,
We,
that would be great. And so she worked with Life Masteries on doing that. And so she knows, I think, where they got it. They can check on it, all that kind of stuff. And so there's all kinds of data that came with that, but it didn't get put into MCAT. So this time when they do that, we've got Shuaib that can go ahead and do a lot better job and get that in place. And so in the past didn't have all of that. And um, so it's making progress. It's just not as fast as what I'd like it to be. So,
yep.
and then Anita, I think it's the Buzz Hub is what it is, and so are business people embarrassed by having ADHD?
It could be. It shouldn't be, but they could be. I mean, what we're finding is you're either enthused because you have ADHD and someone's told you that it could be your superpower, or the alternative is that there's a stigma around it that you don't want to tell people you have it because people will not think highly of you, and they just don't understand it. That's, I think, part of the challenge is raising awareness. They just don't understand. Little kids today, we've had now, there's a group here that helps little kids understand bicycle safety, right? So they did a thing up here at the elementary school, and they had one of the grades, I don't know, it was second or third grade, come out, and one of the little kids says, I have ADHD. It's going to be my superpower. Well, isn't that kind of cute that you got a little kid saying that? It's kind of neat,
Right.
and that's happened to us too. We've been at, and one of the little boys we're actually helping now through a grant, through one of our grants. But people just have a bad view of this thing, and I don't know why. Well, Anthony didn't want to have it either. Kids don't want to have it. Some kids don't want to have it. They believe they're not normal, and that's totally wrong. It's a totally wrong view. And that's what we're trying to change.
Right.
So our podcast or our ADHD summit is going to be let's be the champions for children with ADHD, and we're going to take our whole matrix of the that we sent you, and everybody's going to talk and share their thoughts, and then we're working on having a top psychiatrist come in. To give his background and actually share that, medication discussion, that whole medication discussion on for it's really confusing for families, but and then we're going to have a neuropsychologist talk about what their practice does. And we're trying to tell people this is okay. It's okay to have this. You just got to manage it. You got to get the right help. That's the whole
Right.
driver for this thing. But yeah, maybe some business people are, but it's really an entrepreneurial skill. I mean, having ADHD is a driver to help you have your creativity just comes out tremendously.
Right.
We just did a podcast with her name's Veronica Moya. She's all into meditation and mindfulness for children up to 12, 13 years of age. But before that, she has ADHD. She's so creative. She created a masterful wedding business in New York City, her and her husband.
Wow. Wow.
And she's doing the same thing we're doing, is just taking care of, all the costs for doing and administering their charities. And I don't know, but she's a wonderful, wonderful lady. We had a fun podcast, fun conversation with her. And but you know, anyway, she was criticized for her. What she's doing now is that people say, well, it's too slow. Her videos are too slow, too fast. People got something to say about everything, which
It's
is just let people be, and it's going to be a lot. You'll be a lot happier, and everybody will be a lot happier. But people always have to say something.
right. Right.
Anyway, that's just I don't get it.
So this is so Anita, you get Rosanna's daily post, right?
Yeah.
Can you forward it to Tony so he can see it?
The last one?
Sure. I think it
Or
gives
like which is there a specific one that you wanted or all of them?
no for him to see what they look like to see if he wants to
Okay.
be included. So Rosanna,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, she's been a stay-at-home mom her whole life, but she's been involved in the business. So she's been involved in the business-ish. I mean, she's done different things, but she's not been the front and center person. I've been the front and center person, and so she's kind of behind the scenes type of person. And I don't know, about 3 years ago, she decided to do a daily post. And so I don't know, there's 30, 40, 50 people that, on the post. And it's just little things. It's just little things every day.
Yeah.
So I encouraged her to do it, just to help her with consistency and discipline and a bunch of stuff, and do it for yourself. Don't do it for somebody else. But so people kind of, she's got, I don't know, a bunch of people on it. And it's fascinating to me. Like I don't think she's missed a day in 3 years.
God bless. It's awesome.
Yeah. It's pretty,
It's awesome.
and there's a guy that I know, Stan Lambert, and I've known him for probably over 30 years. And he's ex Air Force pilot. And he was in Vietnam and got exposed to a whole bunch of stuff. And he's got a whole bunch of health issues. Like, he's legally blind, actually, but he's got a
Mhm.
driver's license, which is a little frightening.
Yeah, really. Yeah.
Yeah. But he told me once, like Kenny Bontrager, he's been on once or twice. He and I took a road trip to Texas, and I hadn't talked you know, to Stan probably in 5, 6 years. Hadn't seen him in over 20 years. And we went out to dinner or lunch together. And, and Stan told me, he says, I don't know if you knew this, Mark, but you healed my blindness. And I'm like, nope, didn't know that. And he told this story. It is a fascinating story. So he's got some degenerative eye, thing. And the doctor said, you've got degenerative eye and you're going to be blind. That's just how it is. It's just how it is. And he said, when the doctor told me that, I said, well, what would my friend Mark Borsman tell me? And he said, my friend Mark Borsman tell me that, yeah, no, you can learn how to get through that. The brain is really powerful. So he said, I did for 2 years. Like, he trained his brain. It's a fascinating story. Anyways, he's a pretty deep thinker. Like, he really thinks through things. Rosanna, not as much. And so most of her posts, like, almost nobody comments on it. Every once in a while, somebody will comment on it and stuff like that. And but most people don't. But I told her, I said, honey, there's a lot of there's a lot more people reading it than you realize. And if you're doing it for yourself, who cares? Like it doesn't matter if anybody
Yeah.
reads it or
Yeah.
comments. But he commented on one, and man, it was a long comment. I mean, and it was deep. And and um, so frequencies are interesting. And so once another Navy guy went ahead, he owned his own company, but he was a super smart Frank Forte, super smart guy, and he was a client of ours, and he programmed nuclear missiles coming from submarines.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he had three sons that were in special forces. And he said, people say, you must be really proud of your sons because they're so disciplined. And he's like, they're not disciplined. I'm their dad. They're not disciplined. Like I can tell you, they just discipline themselves they submit themselves to a disciplined system.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
thought that was pretty profound. Anyways, one day I showed up, this was 15 years ago. One day I showed up and I was coaching him. He says, "You seem a little off today, Mark." And I said, "Well, a little frustrated." He's like, "About what?" I said, "My 15-year-old daughter." He's like, "What's going on?" And I said, "I don't know. It's weird. I can have an 18-hour day and I have more energy and fire at the end of 18 hours than I do at the beginning. I mean, I am on. But boy, I walk into a room with her, I'm telling you, she sucks the life right out of me. I mean, she doesn't even have to say anything. And I probably do the same to her. I just walk in and somehow all just everything." And he laughs and he says, "Oh, it's frequencies." I said, "What do you mean?" He says, "You're at a different frequency." I wasn't,
Yeah.
I love business. I don't like, in school, didn't like much of anything else. So I started studying frequencies. So there's the radio wave. It's literally science. And then there's the X-ray, ultraviolet, gamma. And so the higher the frequency, the more it pierces through dense objects. And so I'm a very high frequency. My wife is low frequency. A high frequency is not better. It's like ADHD. It's like, a matter of fact, like people like her. People don't like me. She cares if people like her. I don't care if people don't like me. Like it just, there's 8 billion people in the world. My life vision is not to be liked by
Yeah.
everybody. So I don't
Yeah.
care, and um, so, so I tend to go ahead and attract like Tom Kuntz or, Peter Miles. I tend to attract high frequency people that have thought through things, want to accomplish stuff, want to make a difference. And so Anita will get you over an example. And if you want to,
Okay. Yeah.
if you want to let Rosanna know, that's fine. If you want to participate, they're again just short, simple, easy little things that are kind of cool every day. Um, Until Stan, which is only once every month, 3 months or something, he'll say something, and what he's saying is thought provoking that I will jump in and I'll share to his sharing and stuff like that. And so I think all that to say that people are paying more attention than what we realize to what we're doing.
Yeah. It's like I view it as, it's the impressions that are out there on social media. There's a lot of impressions, but not a lot of comments. And that, for whatever reason, there's more impressions. There's always more impressions than there are comments or more likes, even. You know, um, I guess impressions fit into that whole bucket of what
And that,
I'm
and
gonna,
that's
I'm gonna look at it, but I'm not gonna say anything because either I'm afraid to say something or I'm afraid to like it for whatever reason.
right, right. It's
I
like,
don't get it.
yeah, I don't know. It's all.
I don't overthink this stuff. I don't get worried about it. I just keep going.
Well,
So
I think the thing is what you and I know at an intuitive level is that if you don't engage, like I'm not supposed to say it. I mean, this one is recorded. Probably won't. I'm going to pause it. But it's,